Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Padma Shri awardee Sri K K Muhammed to our channel. Sri Muhammad ji, namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar.
Viewers, there is a lot that we are going to know about Sri Muhammad today in this hangout. We all know him as one of the people, one of the key researchers in the excavation of the Ram Mandir at Ayodhya. But there is much more to this gentleman than what is talked about in the press. And it is my hope today that in addition to what has been happening in the Ram Mandir, we are also going to talk a little bit about what other things Sri Muhammad has achieved. So to start with, I wanted to tell our viewers that his work in Bateshwar in Chambal Valley, and here he was involved in restoring as many as 80 temples in utter ruin out of a possible 200 temples that existed there. Sri Muhammad, before we go into our main topic, perhaps you can share a little bit about what time frame this was, what did you encounter, how did you unearth all these temples and so on?
That was because, in Madhya Pradesh, when I was posted in Bhopal, there is a place known as Chambal Valley. We all know about Chambal Valley, perhaps. It is infested with dreaded dacoits. The great Man Singh, Madhav Singh, these were the great dacoits. And when I was working there was another dacoit known as Nirbhay Singh Gujjar. That was his name. And then you just cannot do anything without their express permission. And because of that, no work was carried out. And there were near about 200 temples at one particular place. As if in a huge earthquake, the entire temple town had come tumbling down like a pack of cards.
I see.
And that was the situation when I went and saw the whole thing. And then we got his permission through some intermediaries. There was one police officer who had shot dead one Pan Singh Tomar. Now on Pan Singh Tomar there is a film also.
Yes. I've seen that movie. Very good movie. Yeah.
Very good movie. So I knew Mr. Vijay Raman who had shot him dead. And it was the same Vijay Raman who had shot that this one, Lashkar-e-Taiba leader also. The man who had bombarded our parliament house. So I got this one help and support from the Raman. And then there are certain surrendered dacoits also. With their help, we got into the network of these people, and then they granted permission. So the biggest problem was, because their question was, why do you want to conserve this temple which is there in the forest area? So they were told these are the government property and this their mandate. But now the biggest problem was, the team is being headed by a Muslim. Why should a Muslim should come and conserve this monument and conserve these temples? That was the biggest problem. And that too, his name is Muhammad, because whenever we say Muhammad, people, they do not remember the name of Prophet Muhammad, but they remember the name of Muhammad Ghazni and Muhammad Ghori, who had destroyed our temples.
Yes.
That was the biggest problem. But finally they were convinced, and then we started our work. So out of 200 temples, I have been able to conserve. Conserve means it was in a highly ruinous condition. I have never seen a site like that one, because it was all in an earthquake. So, and then we have been able to conserve near about 80 temples. 120 temples are even now there. If the government, and that too within a shoestring budget of 3 crores of rupees, right from 2004 up to 2008, I have been able to conserve it. And I think my Padma Shri is majorly because of that kind of work which I had carried out there at that time, in a very unusual, in a very bad land.
Now it is a UNESCO site, isn't it?
It has not become a UNESCO site. Actually, there are 3 sites. It can become a UNESCO site. That is a world, we call it a World Heritage Monument. This is known as Bateshwar, then Padavali, and then Mitavali. And this Mitavali is exactly like the Parliament House.
I
It is
see.
Chausat Yogini temples, yeah. So there is a group of architects and historians who say that the Parliament House was actually the naksha of the design of Parliament House was taken from there. So there is a group of people. It may or may not be correct.
Wow, that's amazing information, sir. So let's now dwell a little bit upon Ram Mandir,
Yeah,
Kar Seva before and after.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
your work on, looking at this started way back in the 1970s with Professor
yeah,
Baby Lal. So
yeah.
perhaps you can bring our viewers, summarize it from that point forward all the way up to now, when even the digging
Yeah.
has brought up some more things and so on and so
Yes,
forth. That amazing stuff has happened. So take it away, sir.
really, really.
The floor is all yours.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. So it was in 1976 and 77. Professor B.B. Lal is a great archaeologist, one of the greatest archaeologists of the country. And we had gone along with him. So at that time, this was not the, Ram Janam Bhoomi was not the issue. Because earlier he had excavated the Mahabharata sites, all Hastinapura, this one, Kurukshetra, all the sites associated with Mahabharata. And he had come up with a chronology of the site also. And now he wanted to see what about the this Ramayana sites. So among the Ramayana sites, the most important site is, of course, this is that Ayodhya itself. And then Lord Sri Ram, when he went on his this one Vanvas, he was for the first time he reached the side of river Ganges. So that was excavated, and then Bharadwaj Ashram, that was excavated, and then Chitrakoot, where he stayed for some time, that was also excavated. So these were the places which he had it in mind. So the first site, of course, is Ayodhya. So when we went there, uh, because generally what we do is before going for this actual excavation, we do an exploration work all around, just to contextualize our excavation. So in this case, we went to that controversial structure also at that time, and puja, Ram Lala's puja was going on. The mosque was completely closed because there was no prayer going on at that time. But then we introduced, there was only one police person, and there was this one also. It was under lock and key also. Then we introduced that we are from the archaeological excavation. So they opened it for us. So what we saw inside the mosque was that structure was, the mosque was standing on temple pillars. Now the question comes, how do you say that this is a temple pillar, or it is a mosque pillar, or it's a church pillar? Actually, we as archaeologists, we are essentially trained for that. We call it stylistic dating, and we can date it also. For example, if you show me this one, a pillar of Akbar's period, I can distinguish it from Jahangir's period, I can distinguish it from Babur's period, and I can distinguish from Shah Jahan's period also. So, because this is the kind of training we get it mostly in our this point. So we went in there, it was on 11th and 12th century temple pillars. So on the lower part of these temples, there will be Purna Kalasha.
Yes.
Purna Kalasha is a symbol of prosperity in Hinduism. And it's also known as Ashtamangala Chinnas, one of the 8 auspicious symbols which you would be getting in almost all the temples. And we saw this one. And that the Purnamadam, Purnamida, Purnartha, Purnamudachyare. So that is even now, if a great Hindu Acharya comes, he is not received, he will not be welcomed by a garland.
No,
he would be, yes, he would be welcomed by a Purna Kalasha only.
Yes,
We
yes.
call it Purna Kalasha, Purna Kumbha. There are many names for this one. So this was also engraved with that kind of Purna Kalasha. And if anybody has got any doubt, they can just go to Qutub Minar. In Qutub Minar, by the side of Qutub Minar, there is a mosque known as Quwwatul Islam Masjid. And there is an Arabic inscription also which says that 27 temples were destroyed for the construction of this mosque. And just go there On all the pillars, you can see this kind of Purna Kalasha. On the top of it, there will be a number of sculptures. Not only 1, 2, 3, 10, 15, more than 50 sculptures of Hindu gods and goddesses one can see. So that is, things have happened in the past history. I will not hold the present day Muslims responsible for that one, but I say that Muslims would be responsible in case they try to justify those things which had happened in those days. Because there, I mean, we, the Muslims, go wrong. So that should not be there. So it was on the basis of that one. That was one, this one particular thing. And the second thing is, when Lal Sahab excavated the two sides, one is the western side and on the southern side, there we got the brick pillars, brick pillar bases. And these brick bases were for firmly putting this one pillars on that one. And there were several brick bases like that one. And then thirdly, there were a number of terracotta figurines also. These terracotta figurines were of various animals, Hindu gods and goddesses also. Which means this was, suppose there is a mosque area. From there you will never get any kind of this kind of idols. You will never get any terracotta idols from there. If it is a temple, then you can get it. But it was not a big issue at that time. So Professor Lal, he did not highlight this thing. He noted down, he wrote it down also, but he did not highlight it the way it should have been done. Because if you want to create, if you wanted to foment any kind of trouble, so that he did not do, because he's a great historian and archaeologist, so he has to live within certain discipline. So he did not do that one.
So as part of this excavation, do you take like pictures and video films and things like that? In 70s, the technology wasn't that easily accessible.
Yeah.
So was there any pictures taken, film taken?
Yes. We had the photograph. At that time, it was not, you don't have the videographs and other things.
Yes.
Photographs we had taken, and there are a number of photographs. And there were certain, in the inside the mosque also, there were certain defaced sculptures were also there. Defaced sculptures. So it was very, very clear. And about this one, it has been written by many of these previous authors also. When Stephen Taylor, he was a Jesuit man. When he came, it was for the first time in 1761-62. It was for the first time. It was he who had pointed out that these are the temple pillars. Not any VHP people. But Stephen Taylor, he's a Jesuit man. He was a Christian priest at that time. And then later on, a number of historians and archaeologists, mostly of British period. So, but, yes.
No, let's please continue. I thought you were done. I was going to ask you.
No. Yeah, it's only one part.
Yes.
So that was in 76, 77. But what happened is, in 1988 and 89, the Marxist historian, mainly Irfan Habib, because it was at the back of it was mainly Irfan Habib, Romila Thapar, R. Sharma, many of these historians, they came and they gave, because they all were always in a very good contact with the press people of that time. They gave a press statement that the site has been excavated by Professor B.B. Lal, and he has not got anything, any remains of the temples. So there is no question of the site being handed over to Hindus. So this statement, with a clear political motive, they had done it in 1988 and 89. So Professor Lal, then he had to come out, because he had got so many evidences.
Yes.
He had to come out. There was no other way for him. So then he came out. No, I have got many materials, and all those things have been recorded also. They have been photographed. There are drawings of those things also. But we did not highlight it the way these people were highlighting it. So at that time, I was in Madras. I was posted in Madras. I was an Archaeological Survey of India. I gave a statement saying, because, I gave a statement that I was the only Muslim who had participated in that excavation. And I have seen those temple pillars also, the brick bases also, and also at the same time the terracotta figures of idols also. And then I said that there are clear evidences of having a temple below the mosque. Then further I said that this is as important for Hindu community as Makkah and Medina are for Muslims. And for Muslims, it has no connection at all with Prophet Muhammad. It has no connection at all with the Khulafaur Rashidin. Khulafaur Rashidin mean four pious caliphs. They are the most important people after Prophet Muhammad. Nor it has got any connection with Muinuddin Chishti of Ajmer or Nizamuddin Awliya of this Delhi. Any of the religious people, it is associated with only one particular king. And the percentage of Muslim community in Ayodhya is only 4%. So Muslims should have willingly handed it over to at that time for the Hindu community, and then the whole problem would have been solved. Not only this problem, many of the problems from which Muslims are now suffering, that also should have been, solved by the Hindu community by coming forward. But that opportunity was completely lost, and the people who were instrumental for it was mainly this communist historian, especially Irfan Habib, Romila Thapar, R. Sharma, and these people. So at that time, can I continue?
Yes, please continue. Please continue.
Yeah. So at that time, when I wrote this one, they were completely silenced. Completely, because all of them were historians. None of them were archaeologists. Completely silent. They had no answer at all for this one. Then there was one history with this one, IAS officer, very senior IAS officer, Airavadam Mahadevan. He's not only a senior IAS officer, but also he was at that time the editor of Dinamani newspaper, and also a great archaeologist, because he has written volumes on Indus script. So he has got all the quality. So what he said is, he said that, in order to right a wrong which had happened in those times, we should not we should not destroy that historical structure. That was his. And then second said, one group of people say that there are no Hindu remains, and another group says there are remains. Then why can't we do a second excavation? And very balanced opinion. So, and I supported that also. And then that second excavation was carried out under Dr. B.R. Mani, because B.R. Mani is a very well established archaeologist. He retired as the Joint Director General of Archaeological Survey of India and the Director General of National Museum also. And that was the second excavation. So, if you want to ask any question before taking up that portion, you can just.
Yeah. So what was the second excavation timeline?
The timeline was in 2003. It took a long time in 2000, because we were in 1976 and 77. So what these people said is that, that below the Babari Masjid, there is no structure at all. Not to talk of temple, there are no structure at all. That was their argument. And when the order was given by the Honorable High Court, it should be an excavation should be conducted, they tried to stop the excavation in all the possible ways, because they could not do it. And then by that time, that ground penetrating radar survey was done by Tocho Vikas. So when they did it, they came to know that there are certain anomalies. Anomalies mean, there are structures below the Babari Mosque. It was now very clear to them. So this communist historian Irfan Habib, he himself came forward and they tried their level best to stop the excavation. They, including one of their professors, one Dr. Jaffrey, he tried to contact me also to get it stopped. But I said nothing doing that. It is a government order, it is a court order, and nobody can stop it. So when when Dr. B.R. Mani excavated it, we had got earlier 12 pillar bases, but now more than 50 pillar bases were excavated, and that too in 17 rows. 17 rows, more than 50 pillar bases, which means it was a huge temple. It was not an ordinary temple. It was a huge temple. And then,
Now, question that comes to my mind right away, sir, is Why was it subterranean? Is it like it's like a mound there, or why was it subterranean? Did they
Yeah.
actually build the thing below the ground level?
No, because what happens is always, any huge construction, and especially uh, temples, mosque, and other things, it will be always on a hillock. And then the main structure was destroyed. The main structure, that is the temple, was destroyed by these people, and either destroyed or it had fallen, might have fallen down earlier also. That is also possible. And then it was rebuilt over that one. So that is why, because you have a structure, but this structure has gone deep down, and over that they had built this one. And then in the second excavation, not only this one. So when it was destroyed, that was in 1992 when it was destroyed, there was a Vishnu Hari Shila Falak. It was an inscription of 20 verses, in which it was very clearly said that this temple of Vishnu is dedicated to that Vishnu who has killed Bali. So who is that God who had killed Bali? That is Lord Ram.
Rama. Yes.
Ram. And then who had killed 10-headed person? Who is that 10-headed person?
Ravana.
That is again Ravana. Yes. And then it was done, in this particular temple was built by Govinda Chandra. Govinda Chandra was this one, he had made so many construction in Sarnath also, and various other parts of the country also. And then on the top of the temple, and especially North Indian temple, just below Kalasha, you will be getting Amalka. That Amalka was excavated from there. And then a number of pieces which goes just behind you, there is a temple.
Yes.
Just behind you there is a temple. So it has got not only Amalka. Amalka is just below the Kalash. And then you have got a number of other, this one also, that is Shigara portions also. A number of architectural members of Shigaras were excavated from there, from that very particular place. And then Pranala. What is this Pranala? Every day we have to bathe the main deity. And that Abhisheka Jala that goes through this Pranala. And that would be a Magara Pranala. Magara Pranala means a crocodile-faced Pranala. Why crocodile? Because crocodile is a symbol of river Ganga. And if it is, if you go to many of these North Indian temples, just in front of Garbhagriha, there will be a lady standing on the right side. It will be a lady standing on Makara, that is crocodile, and on the left side there will be a lady standing on tortoise, which means Ganga and Yamuna and the underground Saraswati. You have a ceremonial dip in all these places, and then cleans you. It will clean you of all your this one sin, and then you are going to the Garbhagriha. So that is it. So this one was also excavated from there. This you cannot excavate it from a bazaar area. You cannot excavate it from a residential area. You can excavate it only from a temple area. This also, Amalka also, and then that architectural members of the Shikara portion also. And then you have all the pillars and pillar bases, you already have it. So with the help of it, an archaeologist can reconstruct the entire temple. So all the things were excavated from there, and 263 pieces of terracotta idols were also excavated.
Wow.
263 pieces. It is not in ordinary we don't get this many number of it. So had it been a mosque area, there was no question of getting any of this kind of idols. And there was a cobra also. Cobra means, cobra. There was a lady figure also, and especially a lady figure from a mosque area, you will never get it. So when this cobra, this one was excavated, some people said they have their own experts. So they, this Waqf committee, they said no, a cobra is associated with Lord Shiva. So we had to say whether it is Lord Shiva or whether it is Vishnu, there is no difference. As far as the Hinduism is concerned, Shivaya Vishnu Namaya, Shiva Namaya Vishnuve, Shivasya Hridayam Vishnu, Vishnusya Hridayam Shiva. So this way, I mean, the replies were given. So I mean, if you go through this one, the excavation and all the materials which was excavated by the Archaeological Survey of India under Dr. B.R. Mani, that very conclusively proves that there was a huge temple of 12th, 11th, and 12th century just below the Babri ruins. And now the most important, because when this were going on, that is the in the month of October, day-to-day hearing was going on. So that was the most crucial period. So I had earlier worked and fought with this communist group of people in Aligarh Muslim University, because for the 10 years I was working and fighting with those people. So I knew their modus operandi. So they work with a very strategical accuracy. So I knew that in October, November, they would be bringing out some kind of explosive statements in the newspapers. So since I knew them and their modus operandi, what I did is I approached one of my friends. His name is Kumar Shakti Shekhar. He is working in Times of India. So, I mean, we gave a statement, a full statement. What are the, I mean, by the excavation of 1976-77, and then the excavation of 2003, because Dr. Mani could not speak, because as he was as per the instruction of the Supreme Court and the High Court, he could not speak. So I had no such problem. So we gave a very extensive 6-column reply to people, so that there should not be any kind of doubt about the whole thing, archaeological excavation. And then what they try to spread is that the excavation was carried out by Dr. B.R. Mani. B.R. Mani is a Hindu, so he cannot be, impartial. That is what they were trying to spread. And I also gave in my statement, I also said, this is court, this one, the excavation has been taken up by the order of the High Court. So because of this, this should be treated, the report should be treated as court commissioner's report, which is a valid, authentic report. Nobody should doubt about it now, because it is as per the instruction of the court. This excavation has been taken and this report has been prepared. And then in order to defend it, I further said, it was not only Dr. B.R. Mani. There were 5 Muslim archaeologists who were co-authors of the report which was prepared by Dr. B.R. Mani. That completely exposed them, because nobody knew that 5 senior archaeologists were there. They were the co-authors of this report, because we knew they were working. And these senior 5 archaeologists were, one was Ghulam Sayyidin Khaja. He retired from Nagpur as the director of Arabic and Persian epigraphy. And the second man was Atikur Rahman Siddiqui. He retired from Agra. Then the third one was Adil Ali. He retired from the Bhopal. And then there was Zulfikar Ali. He is even now working in Archaeological Survey. So these were the co-authors. So the canard which they were preparing, it was it is not an impartial one, it is a prejudiced one, it is a Hindu report. All of them was for the first time completely exposed. And I received a number of phone calls from Muslims intellectuals, because even Muslims and intellectuals were also kept in dark about all this thing. And that way communist historians were completely exposed. And when the judgment came, and the whole country heaved a sigh of relief, except the communist historians of Aligarh University. The whole country heaved a sigh of relief.
Sir, two questions come to my mind, sir. First one is my curiosity question. Now, if I look at the temples in South India, the layout of the temple is like the Dhvajastambha is approximately where the feet, the god is in a sleeping position. Where the goddess Shira is there, then you have the Vimana on top, and that thing. Now, could you perhaps compare the same thing with how the temples are built in North India? And I'll ask you the second question after this.
There are 2-3 types of temples. One is the Dravida. The Dravida Vimana, because Ayodhya, Pattadakal, Badami, and then you have the greatest temple we have got Brihadishwara, and then Madhura Meenakshi and all those temples. That architectural is completely different. But here we have got Rekha Devul Shigara. We call it, one is Dravida, and the second is Rekha Devul Shigara, and the third one is when you go to Bhubaneswar and other places, there is a Veshara style also. These are the three important. So this has been built exactly like that of a Rekha Devul Shigara, which is a typical North Indian temple. And if you go to any part of the North India, because most of it, especially if you go to Khajuraho and other places, you will be getting the same kind of temple, which was actually built in all these places. Because many of these temples were destroyed during the Muslim invasions also. So in North India, you don't find that kind of temple at various places, except places like this one, Khajuraho and other parts. So there also you will be having a Garbhagraha, and then there will be an Antarala, and then there will be a Mandapa, then there will be a Mukhamandapa. So these are the temple parts.
That's wonderful to know that I did not know that there were three different types of temple construction. So it's wonderful to know. I learned something new just listening to you, sir. The second question, this is a more philosophical question. Yeah. You are an historian, not you. I'm just talking about an individual. You are an historian, and you're also a communist. A communist mindset is that God does not exist. They are atheists, essentially. They don't believe in the existence of God. Then why should these historians, what I would call as historians, care whether there is a God or not? Why do they want to put their nose into this in the first place?
First of all, I will make one more thing more clear. They are simply historians. They don't know about art, architecture and other things. They are simply historians. They are not archaeologists. And while the excavation was going on, they had not visited the site also. I am talking about the Professor B.B. Lal's excavation. So without knowing the subject, they had no domain competence at all to pass a judgment like this one, especially about a person like Professor B.B. Lal. No domain competence. Without domain competence, because, they have certain connection with the press people, and the press people entertained them, and that way this came out. So they should not have spoken at all, which many people question them that you are not an archaeologist. Then how do you say your opinion like this one? So number one, they are not historians. As you said that many of them are historians. And why why they have taken up this question is they wanted to, because they have got their hold on ICHR. ICHR, Indian Council of Historical Research, this is an organization which they have been running for a long time, and this is an organization through which they can give a lot of grants and other things. And by this way, they have been keeping the entire historians and their archaeologists under their wings. But now for the first time, people have started thinking, people have started rebelling, and people have started speaking also. So even in Aligarh Muslim University also, while I was fighting against them, the whole BJP was supporting them. The whole BJP was supporting right from 1980, 1988. The BJP was supporting them. It was only from 1988 onwards BJP started going against them. So these are some of the internal secret matters.
Sir, next step. Now, after the judgment, the Supreme Court judgment came, and the Mandir construction excavation has again begun. Perhaps you can explain a little bit more about the findings that have come out. Like, for example, I heard that there was a 5-foot Shivalinga that surfaced.
Yes.
And so please share some thoughts on what came out. Was this part of where it was? Was it in the main structure, or was it like a complex of temples? Perhaps you can elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah. See, this thing is there might have been a number of smaller temples also. One is a huge temple, big temple, and then there will be a shingala of a chain of smaller temples also would be there, especially in 10th, 11th centuries. So Ram Lalla, the portion where Ram Lalla was Virajman, that was not excavated by Dr. B.R. Mani because of the obvious sensitiveness of the thing. But in the month of May, it was transplanted to some other place so that the whole area can be leveled up. So at that time, a number of temple remains again came up. One is that Shivalinga, and then a number of pillars came up. All the numbers of pillars. And my dating to that pillars, it is mostly it goes back to 8th, 9th centuries. The one which this one, VR Mani, and earlier also was excavated, Professor Lal also excavated, that were mostly 11th and 12th centuries. But many of them that came out during the leveling, that goes back to 9th and 10th centuries also. So if you further excavate it, you will be getting so many other things also. So that also establishes what Dr. B.R. Mani had excavated, that it completely proves that excavation also.
Well, fantastic stuff, sir. Now, when you said that the Shivalinga came out, what does it have the same structure? Like, for example, Shivalinga usually has, there is water that drips on top from there. Then there is a collector. I mean, this is misconstrued as something else. I'm not going to dignify that, but I'm just wanted to know, was the structure that was uncovered was a complete Shivalinga with a single 5-foot thing with the water collector also?
I too could not get the real photographs, but what we see is, Shivalinga will be having 3 parts. One is the lowest part, that will be always square, and then there will be a middle part that will be octagonal, and then you have a top part. So it is said Mulado Brahma Rupaya. The lowest portion will be Brahma Rupa, that will be square. Mulado Brahma Rupaya, Madhyado Vishnu Rupine. The second portion, that is the middle portion, that is Vishnu. Agrado Shiva Rupaya. So it is that kind of Shivalinga, because I could see the photograph through the photograph, and it was not very clear because I saw it in the newspaper. And this is that kind of portion. But the Yonipatta, I could not see it there. Yonipatta, which is the one which I saw, it is a very smaller one. So there might have been not only one, there might have been many Shivalingas there. And Ram himself had this one, worshipped Lord Shiva while going for that through the Setu. That was the first thing he had done.
Actually, there is a couple of stories about that. I don't know if you've heard about this. I'm just going to show you my ignorance here. So Rama worshipped Shiva before he went to fight Ravana. And then when he defeated Ravana, and he comes back, he again worships Shiva. But this is a Prayashchitta because he killed a Brahmana.
Not only a Brahmana, and he was a great Shiva Bhakta also. Ravana was a great Shiva Bhakta also. And there is a very beautiful murti. If you go to Ellora, there is a very beautiful murti. It is known as Ravana shaking Kailash, because the whole story is depicted and it looks very beautiful also. And he was a great Bhakta, and he had to recite that Surya's, this one, Shiva Namaya, this one, Sahasra Nama, 1,000 times and for 1,000 years. Then only he was released from the trap in which Lord Shiva had entrapped him.
Amazing stuff.
Very interesting. Amazing story.
So one of the stories is that Ravana's parents named him Dashanana, which is 10 faces.
Nice.
Is that how he is called the 10-faced man? Because I can't imagine someone having 10 faces, but he had the capability of 10 minds, something like that, isn't it?
He might have been an extraordinary individual, because in that inscription also, in that Vishnu Hari Shila Falak, which was recovered from there also the same title, which you had pronounced, the Shanana, that was given to him. So he was having an extraordinary person with a lot of managerial skill. That is why it is said that he was having 10 heads.
So now is excavations are excavations still continuing there? Are they still unearthing stuff? Because I'm assuming that in the complex, a place will be found for all the murtis that are going to be unearthed.
Yeah. I think now the scientific excavation is not going. Scientific excavation, I had also proposed that a scientific excavation should be conducted, because now the whole area is with us. There is no problem now. Nobody is going to come in. And then you have a huge underground museum. This one, by showcasing all the material which you have required from there also. And also like our Akshardham temple. And I had spoken about this one in to Sri Mohan Bhagwatji also, the Honorable RSS chief also. But I don't know what the temple authorities are going to do it. And now I think recently one more group has come. I think they have proposed a temple, and that was some Buddhist groups, they had also come out,
Yes,
and
yes,
they said
yes,
yes.
yes.
So, but that has been, unnecessarily people are creating problem, because the problem has been solved, and they can again coming and making all these kinds of things that makes it very it doesn't go very well. They had
You know,
approached me also.
see, Lord Rama represents perhaps the only person that we celebrate
Yes.
from the Treta Yuga,
Yes.
right? I mean,
Treta
there is
Yuga,
nobody
yes.
else in that Yugam that we are celebrating, and as a
Yes.
country, everybody goes back to that. So we need to
Yes,
look
yes.
at it from that civilizational point of view
Yeah.
than
Yes,
anything
yes.
else. So, sir, I
Yes.
would like to kind of wrap up this portion of our talk and go on to the other things we talked about. If you would like to make a
Yeah.
closing statement on Ram Mandir Karseva now, you can please
Yeah.
do so, and then I'll ask you about some other things that you've been doing.
Yeah. Now, I will only say that Allama Iqbal, the great poet of India, and of course Pakistan also, it's a very good statement about Lord Ram. He says, "Hey Ram ke वजूद पे हिंदुस्तान को नाज, हे राम के वजूद पे हिंदुस्तान को नाज, अहले नजर समझते हैं उनको इमाम हिंद." We are really proud of Lord Ram. Hey Ram ke वजूद पे हिंदुस्तान को नाज. We are really proud of Lord Rama. And the discernible mind, they know that he is the Imam of Hind. So I would like to conclude this discussion on this one by quoting Allama Iqbal. So he is not only Imam Hind, and he is a world leader, and he is the Maryada Purusha. So we should take him from that angle. Hindus, Muslims, Christians, all of them should come together, and we have to have a united India. That should be our stand now.
You really touched my heart, sir. Thank you so much. One of the names for Lord Rama is also Purushottama, which is Uttama of all the Purushas. Yeah. And we can go on. I think we should also talk a little bit about your other things that you've been doing. For instance, now when you were in Delhi, working in Delhi, you did something for the children of the migrant labor that come there. Could you please highlight a little bit about what you're doing there, sir?
I was actually from 2008 onwards, I was posted in Delhi for Commonwealth. Because for the Commonwealth, we had to prepare the whole capital. And it was mainly the most important monuments of the country also we had to showcase. So for that, there were hundreds of laborers under me. And they were coming mostly from Bihar, Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, along with their children. And these children, mostly they were, 1 year old, 2 year old, 5 years old, 6 years old, up to 10 years. They never have an opportunity to go to a school. And they will be going to the nearby Choraha, they will be begging for alms. So what I did is, I myself and my wife, we said that, we will have small schools for them. School means tended school, because in a monument you cannot construct anything. Or if it is a structure is there, then we'll reuse that structure also. So you don't have to do much. You have to give them uniform, you have to give them food, and then teach them. And this way, we had near about more than 500 children were there at various places. One was in Qutub Minar, second one was in Lal Killa, third one was in Humayun's Tomb, fourth one was in this one, Purana Killa. This way, we ran 5 schools, So naturally, it was opposed by some of the government officials. And then I said, see, I'm running it. They asked me, have you taken permission for this thing? I said, I don't need to have any kind of permission because I'm not spending anything out of the government money. I'm spending out of my own money, and it is a social service. Although there are government projects are there for all this thing, but it never reaches the common man. So this was appreciated by many people, and I mean CNN IBN channel, they gave me an award known as Citizen Journalist Award. That award is important, but the person who had given me that award was a very tall man. His name is Amitabh Bachchan. So, yeah, so he was much taller than me, so it became very well known. I mean, throughout it was this one published by many newspapers, and then it became important also. And when another person who was taller than him, when he saw this one, he expressed a desire to meet these children, and the name of that person was Mr. Barack Obama. Wow. Mr. Obama and Mrs. Obama. When they came in 2010, when they came to India, they expressed a desire that they would like to meet those children. And believe me that when I took him for 1 hour, I was explaining everything. And when he met the children, he was the most happiest man. I had never seen him as happy as he was there when he was along with the children. And there was a boy, his name is Vishal. It was he who had gone and received him. Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Obama. A slum boy. And he remembered that name. It was in 2010. In 2015, when he came again as the chief guest of the Republic Day Parade, just 5 days before, I got a phone call from American Embassy that American president is looking for Vishal. So by that time, I had forgotten Vishal. Because we had many students like this one. They were not having email also, mobile also, but they requested me that I should locate them. I located them. So on 26th of January, Republic Day Parade was the biggest thing, and then on 27th at Sri Fort Auditorium, there he met this child before meeting Tata, Birla, and all the great industrialists of the country. Wow! So that was a great message he had sent it on that day. Sarve bhavandu suginam, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani paschantu, ma kaschidam tukam. Let us create that kind of India.
That was touching, sir. Well, you are not someone who is satisfied in the world. You are continuously trying to do other things. Now, there is one other significant contribution that you made towards portraying India's culture and history properly. Could you share a little bit more limelight into that part of your life, sir?
I think you're referring to that Replica Museum. I did something about the Replica Museum. Replica Museum is an idea because of man who comes from America, who comes from England. They in Delhi, they mainly see Qutub Minar, Lal Killa, Humayun's tomb. So they say it's only Mughal monument. They go to Agra, their Taj Mahal, Agra Fort, Fatehpur Sikri, Itmad-ud-Dawla, again Mughals. Go to Jaipur, again you call it Rajput monument, but they are essentially Mughal monument. So they go with an impression that this is India, only Mughals and Mughals. So what I did is, in just behind Sri Fort Auditorium, there is a land which was through a court case, it was given to us by a great lady known as Ajit Kaur and Arpana Kaur. So they got it for Archaeological Survey of India. There I have started a replica museum where you can find a mini India there. All of them are replicas, but they are as good as the original itself. For example, in Hampi, you have got that Ugra Narasimha.
Yes.
If you want to see that Ugra Narasimha, you can go to my temple, museum. And it's to the scale only. This one. And secondly, in Didarganj Yakshi is in Patna Museum. That is the most important piece. It has toured all over the world. If you want to see that also, you can find it here. If you want to Mahabalipuram, if you want to see Ellora, Ajanta, Ellora, all of them, all the important pieces, you can see it here. It was not a government project also, because there was funds that which I could manage. So out of that 35 lakhs of rupees, I used it. The structure was already there. So by using that fund, at that time when I was making it, it was a Congress period. So people called it as a BJP idea. So I said that I have neither BJP nor Congress. It is an Indian idea. So I thought that when BJP comes, at least they will give some kind of support, but they did not give any support at all till this moment.
Well, while you get your breath back, sir, I think this is a shout out to the Minister of Culture. This is our heritage. It takes a lot more effort to put this together than to maintain it. I hope people in the PMO as well as in the Ministry of Culture see their way clear and provide assistance and funding. And not only that, you see, there are these India Tourism Development Corporation coaches, the air-conditioned coaches that take people from all the five-star hotels, and they give the final point probably is Agra. In those things, we should consider having this as one of the stops, because you are only seeing the same thing over and over and over and over.
Exactly. So 5 days back, Prahlad Patel ji, the present Cultural and Tourism Minister, he went to the site, he has seen it, and we hope that he will do something. Actually, now the condition of Archaeological Survey of India is very bad. That also we had to, because culture is a very important thing, and Ministry of Culture and Tourism, they should help and cooperate with Archaeological Survey of India. But since the last 6 years, it is in a very bad condition. I should underline it. Since the last 6 years, it is in a very bad condition. Even if I was therein, I would not have been able to do things.
Sir, one of the challenges that India has is there is a wealth of history that can be unearthed. Look at the path of the Saraswati River civilization. That needs to be uncovered. We have satellite mapped the path. Some stuff was done in Haryana to try and revive the river. But all these things requires dedicated effort, time and money. And I'm hoping that once this corona settles down and India starts growing again, perhaps the government should seriously consider doing a public-private partnership. That way, what happens is, the money and it has to be self-generating funding and self-sufficient once it becomes a entity. Sir, I'm sorry to drag you for such a long conversation.
No problem. Because you have given me an opportunity to criticize the government also, so I'm happy. No, things should improve. Improve. It is not.
Yes. Completely agree with you, sir. So now we'll start having some questions. The first question is from Shubham Rane. Will Sri K K Muhammed provide assistance in Kashi and Mathura, just like in Ayodhya?
Actually, that would have been very good if the Muslim community had agreed for it. But as per the rules now, in 1991, there is a religious act is there. As per the act, the cutoff here for any temple or a mosque would be 1947. That is the year of our independence. At that time, if it was a temple, that would be a temple. If it was a mosque, that would be a mosque, except Ayodhya. So far, I think our this one is only that we cannot make any more claim. And my humble request is also, we should not make any more problems now, because if we are making problem, that will be again, it will take the country towards the, it will take them back to another century. But if Muslims are willing to give, you have to persuade them. And the things are, Muslim mind is changing. And we have to create an atmosphere in which, this Muslim should willingly hand it over. If it is willingly, they are ready to willingly to hand it over, that would be the best remedy for all the best solution for the whole problem.
Sir, here is a good question from Indrani Ghosh. Can
Uh-huh.
Sri Muhammad point out some bookstores which keeps
Yeah.
archaeological books? Because most of the time I'm unable to get BB Lal sir's book, even online.
I see. Now, online is the best thing. Otherwise, we have almost all these books are available in Delhi. Many places are there, and especially Aryan publication is there, where from you can get all the books of Professor B.B. Lal. All the books of Professor B.B. Lal is there in Aryan publication. Indrani is very good question, and we have got many libraries also there in Delhi. I mean, all the books are now easy.
Question for you, sir. This is about a historian. What is the qualification to be a historian? Should retired ASI personnel become historians instead?
Yeah. No, we are not actually historians. We are mainly archaeologists. So for becoming an archaeologist, the best thing is that you have to go either to Deccan College, Pune, or Baroda University, or Banaras Hindu University. These are the best institutions for training an archaeologist, and then ultimately Archaeological Survey of India. There you have a 2 years course is there. It's a postgraduate diploma. It's a very perfect, very good course.
Sir, I have a personal question before. There are a few more questions, but I have a question to ask you. During these excavations at the Ram Mandir, did you find any inscriptions? And if you did, what was the language for those inscriptions?
Actually, the main important inscription was that Vishnu Hari Shilafalak.
Yes, yes.
So that Vishnu Hari Shilafalak was the most important thing. And that was a Devanagari script also. Devanagari script was used. And it is in 20 lines. It is in which this one they have said that it was dedicated to that Vishnu who had killed a 10-headed person also, and Bali also.
I'm sorry. Just let me finish the question.
Yeah.
It was written in Devanagari, but the language was...
I mean, this one, I mean, Devanagari script was also there, and the language was also a kind of this one in 11th and 12th century. It was a kind of transition period. So in which, you'll be having some overlapping of Brahmi also, and then Devanagari also. So these are that Hindi also. So this is a kind of overlapping period of that. Right?
Yeah. Thanks for answering that question. The reason I made this observation is I have at PGurus done a series of videos with Padma Bhushan awardee Dr. Nagaswamy.
Oh yes, great.
And his contention is that Ashoka, when he formalized Brahmi, 3rd century BCE, when he was the governor of Takshashila and all that, that has formed sort of like one standard from where a lot of Indian languages and Khmer, which is what the Southeast Asian languages, they've all spread. And therefore, that's why I was curious to know what language does this have. And just to mention one other point in passing, sir, in the 10th century or 11th century, Rajendra Chola went and conquered Ganga. So now he has inscriptions, coins that he has paid, where he is written in Devanagari. It says Gangai Konda Choran, which means man who occupied Ganga. But that is the interesting thing. So the script is Devanagari, and the language is Tamil. That's why I kind of try to
Tamil.
So thank you so much, sir, for that question of mine. So somebody wants to know, Abhay Agarwal, I want to know where Sri K K Muhammed learned his history from. I want to learn in the same manner.
Yes. No, I learned my history from Aligarh Muslim University. And then fought with all those people.
So this is a general question. I'll come to that in a little bit. I have a couple more questions. Mayur Rathan, now that you are retired, can you please make YouTube videos of all the findings of ASI? The youth today do not read books, but they watch videos.
Yes. No, the work should be taken up by Archaeological Survey of India. For that also we have to approach the minister, and the minister should give a direction. Prahlad Patel ji, he can give a direction to Archaeological Survey of India. All these important things, it should be taken up. Now, I had made some personal videos for that I had to spend. For example, I have excavated this. I mean, this one for Bateshwar. There is a YouTube this one is there. A documentary film is there about the discovery of Ibadat Khana in Fatehpur Sikri, where Akbar had the Deen-e Ilahi that Akbar had built.
Right.
So, yeah. So that I had excavated, and there is a video there. For that also I spent out of my pocket. Then Akbar had built a church also there. That also I excavated and made a film there. And now I am making a small film on Nalanda University. It's a very small film. It is only for 20 minutes on Nalanda University, the great Nalanda University. But now the government, either the government should support or the government itself should come forward. These are the two ways. They have got a wealth of material there.
Sir, the next question is from Sri Manmohan Soni. He says, B.B. Lal, in a recent interview, talked about many pre-Islamic Indian Vedic sites discovered. While ASI is busy renovating tombs and forts, these sites were not completed. I mean, this is the general question. You mentioned it, that there is a funding challenge. I mean, renovating an existing thing that is 500 years old is far easier than excavating something that goes back thousands of years, isn't it?
Yes. So there again, I criticize the government, because now the government is in a position to spend money for all this thing, and they should excavate these things also, and they should renovate those maqbaras also, because renovating maqbara, I should not suffer because of the discovery of these places. So you have more and recruit more and more people, I mean, bring more and more posts, and then expand the whole Archaeological Survey of India. That is not happening. I mean, BJP government, they might be speaking about the glorious civilizations and other thing, but that is only in speeches. They don't do it when it comes to the actual work. And as far as this archaeology is concerned, the Congress government was far, far better than the BJP government's performance since the last 6 years.
Well,
this is a factual statement.
You're absolutely right, sir. And I don't have any, I don't carry a brief for the BJP government. We have to state the facts as they are.
Yes.
Now, I have a curiosity question. This is from Pratik Patel. He has asked a slightly different question that you've already answered. So I'll ask you a question, part of his question. He says, why is there not a big ancient temple in Delhi? For example, Indraprastha is right here. So why is there no old temple excavated in Delhi itself?
No, the obvious question is, sir, is because all of them have been completely destroyed when the Muslims came in 11th and 12th century. All these huge temples were completely destroyed. And the major temples were there in Qutub Minar area only. And all of them were completely destroyed. And this has happened for the major part of North India. So that you just cannot hide it. It is a historical fact that should be accepted.
Thank you so much for that clarification, sir. Is there a place that people, Utkarsh Tiwari, he wants to know, is there a place where we can find pictures from the Ayodhya excavation today online? Like, for example, we talked about the Shivalinga. Is there a website that you know of that way people can go to the online site to look at the pictures as they are coming out of the excavation? Are you aware of any such site?
I'm not aware, but now they are trying to. Yesterday we had day before yesterday we had a talk about this one Ayodhya issue and other thing. So one Dr. YP Singh is there. He is the in charge of the proposed museum. So they will be, I think, having everything with them. So they are the right people, and in case he wants, I can give him the number of YP Singh also. He can be contacted. He is the right person for that.
Yeah, sir, if you don't mind, just share that with that email address. You share it with
yes, I will.
I will put it as part of the video.
Oh, yes. Very good.
Thank you so much. So viewers, now we are already 1 hour into this program, and I'm afraid I'm running Sri Muhammad's throat dry. I don't want to keep him for way too longer. I have 2 or 3 questions left. Please stop putting in your questions at this point of time, because we are really out of time. Thank you so much for your patience. And we have had an excellent response today to our hangout today. And I'd like to move on with the next question, which is from Srihari. Srihari wants to know about your work in Bateshwar Temple Complex. Srihari, that was the first thing we talked about as part of this conversation. When this thing gets published, you will be able to get a detailed description
Yes,
of
yes.
the work that Sri K K Muhammed then did as part of the Bateshwar complex. So thank you very much for that question. The next question, sir, Prabhunath G. Sir, did you formally learn Sanskrit? Your Ucharana is perfect.
Yes. You see, I am a Keralite, a Malayali. So half of the Malayalam words are from Sanskrit only, perhaps more than half of it. So it has naturally come to me. I mean, this I understand. And then I did some kind of this one also, a kind of learning course also I had undergone. So that gave it a kind of perfection that way.
Wonderful, sir. So the last question for this session today, could you throw some light about the excavations in Kiradi? And for viewers, there is one hangout of mine with Padma Bhushan awardee Dr. Nagaswamy about Kiradi. In fact, we go through and decode the language that was there in the pottery that we found there. Like, for example, there's a name of a guy called Kuviran. Kuviran. Viran means a warrior, and so on. So, just can you throw a little bit of light about recently there was a 5-foot Nataraja copper murti that was unearthed. That was amazing.
Yeah. See, that is a very important historical site. Actually, it was excavated by Dr. Ramakrishna, but he was stopped from the excavation by Archaeological Survey of India because of the interference of some people. That should not have happened, and then he was transferred also. So he had a long fight. I think it's a very important historical site that should have been given the importance of it, which it deserved. But at the same time, we should not suffer from kind of a local phobia also, that we had a great civilization like this one, like that one. If it goes into the excavation goes into the hands of that kind of people, then that would become another problem. So it should be in between. You have to have the passion for the site, but it should not be converted into a kind of phobia. So we have to have a fine walking in between the two. I think that is what is happening there. Some people have tried to hijack it. That should not have happened. And government India is responsible for that also. And we have to have a balanced approach for the site. It's a very important historical site. Please give the due importance to it.
That question was asked by Geeta Arun. Thank you so much for asking those questions, viewers. And at this point, our hangout with Sri K K Muhammed comes to an end. It is actually Mangalam, I should say. And sir, thank you so much from my behalf and from our viewers for sharing your thoughts on this. It was a fantastic journey down memory lane here of history and culture. And I really, really thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Namaskaram, and hope to see you again.
Namaskaram. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.